Hey guys, it's Pam. Welcome back to Dragon Age Inquisition. I'm about to go over and have a nice conversation with Solas, but I wanted to explain what happened. I've been not posting for a few days, and while I was trying to do kind of an every other day schedule, I this week got thrown off because my mom passed away on Sunday. We knew it was coming, we just didn't know when. She took a turn for the worse last week, and she managed to finally get comfortable and I guess decide that it was time. And so we've been, it's me and my brother, and we've been making funeral arrangements and doing all the stuff. But my schedule is also is just completely thrown off for obvious reasons. And I also am going back to work next week, Tuesday after Christmas. So I don't know what my schedule is going to be like after that. But I've never, this isn't like the kind of thing where I know people are waiting on videos. I'm doing this at my own pace, and you know, I'm aiming for just kind of a long, continuous video that will be, you can watch the whole playlist through. So, it is what it is.
Hello.
Hello. I guess I need to talk to him a little bit more.
What do you know about the Fade? A great deal, from my wanderings. There are few hard facts, but I can share what I have learned. I'd like to know more about the Breach. Simply put, it is a tear in the veil between this world and the Fade, allowing spirits to enter the world physically. Small tears occur naturally when magic weakens the veil, or when spirits cluster in an area that has seen many deaths. But your anchor, as Corypheus calls it, allows you some control over the Breach. That suggests it was deliberate. I'd like to know more about the Veil. Circle mages call it a barrier between this world and the Fade, but according to my studies in ancient elven lore, that is a vast oversimplification. Without it, imagine if spirits entered freely. The Fade was not a place one went, but a state of nature like the wind. Sounds like it would be wonderful. And dangerous. But yes, a world where imagination defines reality, where spirits are as common as trees or grass. Instead, spirits are strange and fearful, and the Fade is a terrifying world touched only by mages and dreamers. I am glad that I'm not alone in seeing the beauty of such a world, along with the obvious peril. I'd like to know more about demons. The Chantry says that demons hate the natural world and seek to bring their chaos and destruction to the living. But such simplistic labels misconstrue their motivations, and in so doing, do all a great disservice. Spirits wish to join the living, and a demon is that wish gone wrong. Is there a way to coexist? To live with them? If not in peace, at least without such active confrontation? Not in the world we know today. The Veil creates a barrier that makes true understanding most unlikely. But the question is a good one, and it matters that you thought to ask. We'll talk later. Goodbye. Greetings.
Obviously, I still have quite a bit
I'd like to know more about you, Solas.
to talk about with Solas.
You're an apostate, yet you risked your freedom to help the Inquisition. Not the wisest course of action when framed that way. I appreciate the work you're doing, Solas. I just wanted to know more about you. I'm sorry. With so much fear in the air. What would you know of me? What made you start studying the Fade? I grew up in a village to the north. There was little to interest a young man, especially one gifted with magic. But as I slept, spirits of the Fade showed me glimpses of wonders I had never imagined. I treasured my dreams. Being awake, out of the Fade, became troublesome. Did spirits try to tempt you? No more than a brightly colored fruit is deliberately tempting you to eat it. I learned how to defend myself from more aggressive spirits, and how to interact safely with the rest. I learned how to control my dreams with full consciousness. There was so much I wanted to explore. I gather you didn't spend your entire life dreaming. No. Eventually, I was unable to find new areas in the Fade. Why? Two reasons. First, the Fade reflects the world around it. Unless I traveled, I would never find anything new. Second, the Fade reflects and is limited by our imaginations. To find interesting areas, one must be interesting.
this why you joined the Inquisition?
I joined the Inquisition because we were all in terrible danger. If Corypheus destroyed the world, I would have nowhere to lay my head while dreaming of the Fade.
Ah.
Inquisitor, that is why I joined, not why I stayed.
I wish you luck.
Thank you. In truth, I've enjoyed experiencing more of life to find more of the Fade.
How so?
You strengthen your body to deliver and withstand punishment. The muscles are an enjoyable side benefit. You have chosen a path whose steps you do not dislike because it leads to a destination you enjoy. As have I.
You said you traveled to many different places.
This world, or its memory, is reflected in the Fade. Dream in ancient ruins, you may see a city lost to history. Some of my fondest memories were found in crumbling cities, long picked dry by treasure seekers, the best of the battlefields. Spirits press so tightly on the veil that you can slip across with but a thought.
Any place in particular?
I dreamt at Ostagar. I witnessed the brutality of the Darkspawn and the valor of the Ferelden warriors. I saw Alistair and the hero Ferelden light the signaled fire, and Logain's infamous betrayal of Kaelin's forces.
I've heard the stories. It would be interesting to hear what it was really like.
That's just it. In the Fade, I see reflections created by spirits who react to the emotions of the warriors. One moment, I see heroic wardens lighting the fire, and a power-mad villain sneering as he lets King Kaelin fall. The next, I see an army overwhelmed and a veteran commander refusing to let more soldiers die in a lost cause.
You can't tell which is real.
It is the Fade. They are all real.
Have you always traveled and studied alone?
Not at all. I have built many lasting friendships. Spirits of wisdom, possessed of ancient knowledge, happy to share what they had seen. Spirits of purpose helped me search. Even wisps, curious and playful, would point out treasures I might have missed.
I don't know of any spirits by those names.
They rarely seek this world. When they do, their natures do not often survive exposure to the people they encounter. Wisdom and purpose are too easily twisted to pride and desire.
You're saying that you became friends with Pride and Desire demons?
They were not demons for me.
Meaning?
The Fade reflects the minds of the living. If you expect a spirit of wisdom to be a pride demon, it will adapt. And if your mind is free of corrupting influences, if you understand the nature of the spirit, they can be fast friends.
I'm impressed that you could become friends with spirits.
Anyone who can dream has the potential. Few ever try. My friends comforted me in grief and shared my joy. Yet, because they exist without form, as we understand it, the Chantry declares that spirits are not truly people. Is Cassandra defined by her cheekbones and not her faith? Varric by his chest hair and not his wit?
I'm never really sure quite what to answer this. I could just go with, agreeing with him and making him happy. He doesn't feel like he has enough knowledge to say either way because he's a warrior. He doesn't deal with magic, so...
I'm certain you have some rhetorical trick ready to counter anything I say.
It's likely. I've had a lot of time to discuss the question with people. Or spirits, if you prefer.
Okay.
We'll talk later.
Goodbye.
Do I really
Greetings.
want to? If I do this...
I'm interested in what you told me of
Here we
yourself
go.
and your studies. If you have time, I'd like to hear more.
You continue to surprise me. All right, let us talk. Preferably somewhere more interesting than this.
Okay, so I'm just sitting here. I'm still using Bandicam for both my audio as I'm talking and the game, and so far it seems to be working pretty well. But then I realized that I am not keeping track of time because I was using Audacity to kind of note how much time was going by in each video. So hopefully I may end up making the episodes just a little bit shorter, and there's so much talking in these anyway that I feel like I want to keep them just a little bit shorter so they're not as tedious. But let's see, we've got a thing about Crestwood here, which I don't think I've ever read. The local inn is perched on top of the dam. We saw that when we went there. That was where the dam controls were, which didn't really make any sense, but whatever. And here we are. So it kind of seems strange that we would go somewhere else to talk a little bit more if the game comes up. Anyway, I keep getting distracted because, as usual, the cats are fighting. This time it's over who gets to stand on the back of the couch right at the end, which is closest to me. They always do this. And of course, all I really want to do is babble about Final Fantasy 15 because now that I finished it, I'm bereft and I want to go back and I did start a second game because I don't usually do this. I've played this game a lot of times, but there was a lot of variety in the choices you could make and the classes you'd play. Final Fantasy is just one story, but I need to plus there's a lot I didn't actually see. I found out later on.
Why here?
Haven is familiar. It will always be important to you.
And I'm
We
eating
talked
Hershey's
about that
Kisses.
already.
I sat beside you while you slept, studying the anchor.
I'm glad someone was watching over me.
You were a mystery. You still are. I ran every test I could imagine. Searched the Fade, yet found nothing. Cassandra suspected duplicity. She threatened to have me executed as an apostate if I didn't produce results.
I would never have agreed to that.
You were in no position to argue.
Well, he was still asleep at the time.
You were never going to wake up. How could you? Mortals sent physically through the Fade. I was frustrated, frightened. The spirits I might have consulted had been driven away by the breach. Although I wished to help, I had no faith in Cassandra, or she in me. I was ready to flee.
But you stayed.
I did. I told myself, one more attempt to seal the rifts. I tried and failed. No ordinary magic would affect them. I watched the rifts expand and grow, resigned myself to flee, and then... It seems you hold the key to our salvation. You had sealed it with a gesture. And right then, I felt the whole world change.
Was that impressive to see me awake?
You had walked in the Fade. I have explored the Fade more than anyone alive. But even I can only visit in dreams. But you might have been able to visit me here while awake.
What do you mean?
Where do you think we were?
This isn't real.
Took you long enough.
That's a matter of debate. Probably best discussed after you wake up.
Yeah, I love that because it's like, yeah, Haven was destroyed, right? You should be questioning why you're walking around Haven as it was. But then that's why you have to be careful if you want to, how you proceed with this. That does take you away from Skyhold, so you're actually out of Skyhold, and so when you come back, if you haven't done that first mission where you go away, and we came back and we saw everything that was changed and the improvements that have already been made and are continuing to be made in Skyhold, that counts as leaving. So you would come back and you would start seeing all those changes, even though technically you didn't go anywhere. In the game, all you did was sleep. And of course, then it begs the question of how you got to be asleep after just having this normal conversation with Solas. There's a cute cartoon that somebody did on Tumblr that was basically him knocking the Inquisitor on the back of the head and So they're both crashed out asleep on the floor of the solarium, the rotunda, whatever it is. There's really no good name. I mean, the second floor is sort of a library, but it's also where a lot of the scouts hang out, and the top floor, of course, is Liliana's rookery. But yeah, so this is kind of why I like to do things in a certain order, so it makes a little bit more sense in the story. I just don't want to metagame too much and just say the nice things to have Solas approve of me. I mean, I don't want to be an asshole. There are some playthroughs that people have done. I think Ash Lady Insanity did one that was sort of infamous, I almost want to say. Just the taking all the dick answers, just being a complete turd to everybody. And you can do that. It's horrible, but you can do that. Yeah, but I don't want to be that person, but I don't just want to mouth niceties. But, like, in my real life, I don't like confrontation. And so I tend to avoid confrontation in games as well, if I can. If I can find a way to smooth things over. And, you try to see different people's points of view as much as possible. It's not 100% possible for everybody, and I completely acknowledge that. And sometimes you don't want to see different people's points of view because some people are horrible and their points of view are horrifying and not worth the time it might take. Or, you might try to change their point of view, whatever. But he's the Inquisitor. He has to lead these people, and so I feel like he wants to make sure that they're all okay with him, I guess. I don't know.
And what else did Lady Forsythia say? That she'd rather drown herself than help the Inquisition. Anything else? She said she'd have us flogged alive if we allied with her brother. That does sound like her. Cheer up, Josie. We at least have her attention. You always do find the brighter side of things.
Josephine and Liliana have
We are
been
in the
friends for a
midst
long
of cementing
time.
an alliance with Lady Forsythia of Nevada, Your Worship. It's become a somewhat delicate task.
Can I do anything to help negotiations?
Thank you, but I believe I have matters in hand. I dissuaded her from sending soldiers when she learned we'd struck an accord with a brother she's feuding with. Lady Forsythia simply employs a colorful manner of speech.
You're rather good-natured about threats of death and dismemberment.
They are chiefly bluster, Inquisitor. Most of them. But I confess I do miss my staff from the embassy in Antiva. It was always useful to discuss the day's visitors with them.
I have time, if you'd like to review things with me.
I wouldn't wish to impose.
If it were imposing, I wouldn't have offered.
Well, I admit there are a few potential alliances it would be good to discuss.
I'm gonna end up back here
Right
again.
on the parlor floor, in front of everyone at the soiree. Who does such a thing in front of their guests?
The Duke of Kellington, apparently.
And then there's Cole's lurking. It frightens our guests half to death. Lord Gennard still won't respond to our letters. And Sarah, can she not find a single overshirt with that mustard taint on it? Then there's Dorian. The man refuses to take anything seriously unless it suits its whim. Not to mention... Oh goodness. Have we been here an hour already?
It went by so quickly I didn't even notice.
You're far too polite. I didn't intend to go on for so long. You must think me quite the gossip.
You've been working continually since I met you, Josephine.
And that can't stop. I must be going. But I leave feeling less troubled than I have in weeks.
Yeah, I want my people to all be alright, so even if we don't agree on every little detail, like, I don't want, for example, I don't want Sarah to feel as if she's looked down on for her feelings about Andraste and the Maker, even if I don't share them. But then she gets kind of like, a little nasty too, because she's basically, if you don't believe that stuff, all the old elfie stuff is wrong and stupid, and she really does. She just calls it stupid. It's like, I don't ask you to believe my stuff, but you don't have to completely make fun of my entire religion too. Did I go in? Yeah, I went in the garden. I was trying to remember if I shut it off, but I did. I'm going to talk to Gatsy finally.
Honored, Inquisitor. Gatsy Sturhall. Did my part on the walls. Now I'm on this strange collection you've brought us. Don't know it's worth to the fight exactly, but it's good workmanship.
Any ideas about the origins of these reliefs?
To Vinter, early. It's in the tool marks, the grain. That's hard dust mined from the 100 Pillars, if I know anything. Oh, I suppose the scene is probably full of Tevinter robes, too.
The 100 Pillars?
Damnedest things. Massive spires that aren't stone. It's like a mortar. Don't know more than that. Strong, though.
Where did you learn your skills?
Orzammar. Carved a few statues in my day. And before you ask, yes, I chose to leave. I carved a paragon who turned out to be a sodding madwoman. Couldn't stand looking at it. The memory of a dwarf, right?
Do you have insight into the stories these tiles are supposed to depict?
Tell you what, you finish one, and I'll write it up. Who better, right? A good dwarven perspective.
Another time.
Best of the vein, Inquisitor.
Yeah, once you get any of the tile sets complete, he will give you a codex on the making of them. Oh, hey.
Corypheus is back. Oh, shit.
You said he was a Darkspawn or a Magister. What is he really?
I'm not sure. I don't think Corypheus really knows either. He's definitely a Darkspawn, but when we found him, it was pretty obvious he hadn't heard that. He thinks he's a Magister, a priest of Dumat, in fact. He says he broke into the Golden City, like in the Chantry tale.
If you and Hawk defeated him once, we can do it again.
We didn't just think Corypheus was dead. He was dead. No pulse, no breath, full of stab wounds. There wasn't a lot of room for doubt. It makes me wonder. I thought the Wardens imprisoned Corypheus to use him. Maybe they did it because he can't be killed.
How did you and Hawk even wind up in a Grey Warden prison for ancient Darkspawn?
Corypheus sent people after Hawk. He actually got control of an entire Carter clan. Made them drink Darkspawn blood. Weird shit. We tracked the Carter to an old dwarven fort or something in the mountains. Of course, it turned out to be a trap. They needed Hawk's blood to open the locks holding Corypheus, and they drew us into the prison to get it.
There has to be a way to defeat Corypheus. We'll find it, don't worry.
I hope you're right. Maker's breath, what have I let loose?
Oh, Varric.
You had nothing to do with this, Varric.
I was the one who led Hawk to Corypheus. If I hadn't tracked the Carter to that ruin. But you've got more important things to do than listen to me worry. Just let me know when you want something shot.
Let's see. Who do I want to talk to? I think I had a couple more questions that I could go through with him. Or other stuff. Apparently.
Battling the demons of paperwork? That's a fight nobody walks away from clean.
You have no idea the number of times I've almost been killed by bills of lading. I've been meaning to come talk to you anyhow. I never officially joined the Inquisition. I don't know how to do this disciplehood thing. I'm a businessman. Never really followed a chosen one before.
I don't need a disciple. I need a friend.
If you knew how intimidating you are, you wouldn't make it sound so simple. You just don't know what you are to the people out there. The Herald of Andraste is a symbol bigger than any of us.
So what exactly am I to the people out there?
The sky tears open, demons everywhere. To ordinary folks, these are the end times. The only hope they have is you. You're the sign that somebody might hear their prayers. That maybe they're not abandoned after all. You heard the crowd singing after Haven was attacked?
Please tell me you aren't going to burst into song now.
Don't worry, I'm not that cruel. I should probably get back to work. Unless, you up for a game of Wicked Grace?
Varric is a bro. Actually, Varric isn't a bro, he's a friend. Let's see. Alright, I think I'm going to leave this episode here. I want to get at least one more conversation in before we go on to the Western approach. But for now, we're going to leave this with Varric, so hopefully I'll get to see you guys next time. Thanks again for watching. Bye.